Faza felt like home once, and I don't say that lightly. I say it with the weight of memory, with the ache of something that once existed and now only lives in fragments. Because home isn't just where you feel happy. Home is where you feel safe enough to fall apart. Before Faza, I didn't even know I was homeless inside. I was surviving, not living, smiling but guarded, talking but careful, existing but never fully arriving. Then she came in quietly. No dramatic entrance, no loud promises, just presence. And somehow everything in me softened. She didn't try to fix me. She didn't demand explanations. She listened in a way that made my silence feel respected. With Faza, I didn't have to perform. I didn't have to impress. I didn't have to pretend I was stronger than I actually was. She made space for my tiredness, for my doubts, for the parts of me I usually kept hidden. That's how I knew. That's how home feels. Home feels like being accepted before being understood. I remember nights where time forgot us, where hours slipped away unnoticed because conversation felt like breathing, natural, unforced. We talked about dreams that scared us, fears we never admitted out loud, things we had buried so deep we forgot they existed. And she listened, not to respond, but to understand. Her laughter didn't just fill the room, it filled the empty spaces inside me. Her presence calmed storms I didn't even know I was fighting. Faza felt like warmth, like familiarity, like coming back after a long journey and finally putting your bags down. For the first time, I wasn't waiting for people to leave. I wasn't bracing myself for disappointment. I allowed myself to believe that staying was possible. That belief changed me. I became softer, more open, more hopeful. I started imagining futures I never allowed myself to imagine before, not because she promised them, but because being with her made them feel realistic. But life has a cruel way of teaching lessons through loss. The change didn't happen suddenly. It never does. It happened slowly, in missed calls, in replies that lost their warmth, in conversations that stayed on the surface instead of diving deep. I felt it before I understood it, that quiet shift, that invisible distance. She was still there, but she wasn't present. And that's the most painful kind of leaving. Because how do you confront something that has no clear beginning or end? I asked myself 1,000 questions. Did I do something wrong? Did I love too deeply? Did I expect too much from something that was never meant to last? I tried to hold on gently, carefully, afraid that one wrong move would make her disappear completely. But the harder I tried to preserve us, the more fragile we became. And then one day I realized I was the only one still calling it home. She didn't leave with cruelty. She didn't shatter me intentionally. She just outgrew the space where we once existed together, and I was left standing in empty rooms, touching memories like furniture that no longer belonged to me. Losing Faza didn't feel like heartbreak. It felt like eviction, like being told that the place you felt safest in was no longer yours. I walked through life feeling displaced. Everything familiar felt distant. Everything loud felt exhausting. I missed her in small moments, in things she would have laughed at, in thoughts I wanted to share, in silences I wished she could sit with me in. I didn't miss the idea of her. I missed the version of me that existed when she was around, the version of me that believed connection didn't always end in pain. Some nights I replayed memories not to torture myself, but to remind myself that what we had was real, that I didn't imagine the closeness, that the comfort existed, that the safety wasn't a lie. And that realization hurt even more, because real things ending hurt deeper than imagined ones. I learned that love doesn't always break you loudly. Sometimes it leaves quietly and lets you bleed internally. I tried replacing the emptiness, filling my time, distracting myself, but nothing fills the space that once felt like home. Because home isn't replaceable. It's personal, unique. I blamed myself for a long time, for caring too much, for attaching meaning, for turning moments into memories. But loving deeply is not a flaw. It's a risk, and not every risk is rewarded with permanence. Eventually, I stopped asking why she left and started asking what she taught me. She taught me that I am capable of connection, that I can be soft without being weak, that vulnerability isn't a mistake. She taught me that home can be a feeling, not a location, and that losing home doesn't mean you'll never find it again. It just means you have to build it differently. Slowly, I started coming back to myself, learning to sit alone without feeling abandoned, learning to be gentle with my own heart. I stopped looking for her in strangers, stopped comparing everyone to what we once had, because comparison keeps you trapped in places that no longer exist. Faza felt like home once, and that truth will always live with me. But now I understand something deeper. Some homes are temporary. They don't exist to shelter you forever. They exist to teach you what safety feels like, so you don't settle for less again. She was a chapter, not the whole story. A place I passed through, not a place I stayed. And even though it ended, I am grateful, because not everyone gets to experience a love that feels like home, even once. And now, when I think of home, I don't think of her leaving. I think of what she awakened in me, the ability to love without fear, to feel without restraint, to believe in connection again. Faza felt like home once, and that memory didn't destroy me. It built me.